Okay, good evening, everybody. You're welcome to our case study class tonight. Please, if you can hear me, can you signify by giving me some thumbs up? Okay, this is great. So it's good to be here. I believe you can also see me. I think. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I hope it's brighter. Yeah. Okay. All right. You're welcome. So, let me do it. All right, so we're going to get started for the preliminary discussion on ICAN case study for November 2024. All right, so I'm trying to take some moment so we can accommodate everyone. Okay, so just give me some moments. I'm going to start shortly. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. I think I've tried to bring everybody on board. So I want to believe you can hear me. Please confirm the volume is okay, or probably I should use my uh my what's it called, microphone. Okay, I think it's okay. All right. So we are going to get started. I know the tension is high, probably, I'm not sure. But this is preliminary discussion. Is not the uh it is not the main class, which is the Preseen analysis. All right. So this is preliminary. We just want to have some discussion around the case study, Preseen for November 2024. And the whole idea is to, create some insights. I'm going to hear from you. You're also going to hear from me, maybe sparingly, right? But on November 17th, you will hear from me fully. So today is just to rub minds together. And I know you have a lot of questions around case study itself, how your report structure should look like, or probably you've taken lectures before now, that's fine. Right. So let's do it this way. I'm going to talk, or we're going to rub mind for the next 45 minutes, thereabout. Then maybe the last 15 minutes or to 20 minutes, I will listen to your questions, right? And don't shut down anybody. So you can go to the chat button to ask a question. So when I'm lecturing, you can drop a question, or when we are rubbing minds. I'm not lecturing actually. When we're rubbing minds together, you can drop your question. So I might stop by to take a look at that. But I expect some uh, some professionalism or probably maturity in your questions, right? And let me also say that everybody's opinion is absolutely correct at this moment. Okay, so this is ICAN case study, and whatever you think is going to be the requirement or the way the unseen is going to look like is very correct until November 17th. Sorry, November 21. Yeah, 9 a.m. before we see the reality. So my own job here is to guide you and give you some insight. Obviously, writing reports is not really a problem, but this is a bit challenging because we needed to come up with a simulation or, the way the unseen might likely look like. And of course, we know what they are capable of doing in terms of, they may even ignore the Preseen 100%, and they're going to make something unique or new in the exam. But that's not to worry. So that's why you also need to understand how case study works, so that whether it continues with the Preseen into the unseen, or whether it brings on a fresh scenario in the unseen, then you have to stick to the plan, right? So you have to be guided, and then you also understand what you're expected to do um, in that exam. Okay, so that's why it is important that we all understand. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Once more, you're welcome. In case I just meeting me, my name is Arami. So I'll be the anchor for your case study, and of course, so it's good to be here. I'm also overwhelmed. Yeah, I read the person a couple of times, and it's looking good actually. But notwithstanding, I'm also trying to take some caution because we know what the chief examiner can pull. All right, I think I have a comment or question here, so let me start. I mean, will you prepare a report based on the percent? Okay, so that's a nice question. So the reality is that it's actually very difficult to prepare a report based on the percent alone, right? Because it is just maybe less than 50% of a complete scenario. So you still have some more other information that is going to, come up. But whichever the case it is, we are going to prepare a report, a sample report, at least that will guide you and give you great insights into what you're expected to do. So don't worry yourself, you will definitely get a report. Okay, so I think I've even started a report actually. Okay, so maybe the coming weeks I'll be able to finalize it and we'll be ready for November 17. All right. So let's get started. Let's get started. We have just an hour. Okay. So we have. I believe you can see my screen. Please, if you can see my screen, just let me know before I start. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So wherever you are watching, just put me on loudspeaker. But remember, this is not the person itself. I'm just rubbing mine. So as I know, I don't know anything. All right. So just want to rub mine together, even though I will give you some insight actually. Okay, so we have Travex Hotels Limited. So these are the list of exhibits. It was actually released online at about 11:50 p.m. Shortly before November 7th. Yeah. So let's see. List of exhibits. About you, Dan Cabrillo, and your employer, Techno Consulting Services. Sorry, I guess that's my UPS on the background. Sorry about that. It's single. All right. Um, and exhibit 2, the Nigerian economy and the hospitality industry. 3 is looking at business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry. And exhibit 4 says Travex Hotel Limited, history, board, management, and competition. In 5, we're going to see Travex Hotel Limited as well. But here it's looking at 3-year summary financial statement, or probably summarized financial statement. Okay. And Exhibit 6 is saying hospitality business, sustainability, and innovation. All right. Sorry about the background noise around the UPS to soon go off. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I'm just waiting by for that to go off. Okay. Sorry, one moment or some moments. Okay. So let's look at Exhibit 1. About you, Dan Kabil. So this will be your name for 4 hours on November 21. So take note, right? So that's your name, about you, Dan Kabil, and your employer, Techno Consulting Services. So let me start from there. Is this internal report or external report? So because we need to identify that. So go to your chat button. So just tell me, is this internal report or external report? Okay, great. So everybody says external report. Absolutely. All right. So most likely, um, Travex Hotel is asking Techno Consulting Services to help them to probably analyze their performance and help them to identify areas of weaknesses where they can improve on, so to speak. And you, Dan Kabil, is working with Techno Consulting Services. So obviously your boss will ask you to draft a report for his attention in this regard, and but to be addressed to the board of Travex Hotels Limited. So that makes it external report because even though your boss is asking you to draft a report for his attention, but he will not take decision on that report. It is the board of Travex Hotels Limited that will take decisions. So that makes it an external report. So I think that is not pulling any arguments. Okay, so that is interesting. So what that implies is this. So two things you need to take note. The outlook of your cover page will be impacted because it's an external reporting. And of course, the tone of your reporting. So those two things, you have to take note of that. Even though I said I'm not going to lecture, but this thing is just in my blood, actually. Okay, so what I mean by that is for your cover page, you must have a disclaimer. So the mark that will be awarded to the cover page will only be given if you have a disclaimer on your cover page. Then in terms of the tone of your reporting, for example, if you are starting under your introduction, so you're going to say something like, we refer to the mail sent to us, you quote the date. So you're going to see that in your scene when you get into the exam and you load it with the requirements in the case. I'm going to give you all those samples. All right, so we refer to or sequel to the mail sent to us. So you have to take cognizance of that. So those are the two major things you need to take note because it's an external report. But obviously, apart from the disclaimer, your cover page, you design your answer script like a letter-headed paper. So that's your title page, or what's also called your cover page. So it looks like a letter-headed paper, so to speak. All right, so we have other information already. Okay, so let's see what is happening here. You are Dan Kabir, writing the professional level of ICAN examination. You're employed as a training consultant by Techno Consulting Services, and you report to Michael Chukuma, partner in charge of the hospitality group within the firm. So this also affirms the fact that it's an external report. So I have Michael Chukuma here, which is my boss, right? And he's a partner in charge of hospitality group within the firm. Your responsibilities include, I said I will not lecture, but I want you to listen to me. What I'm going to do on November 21 is here, okay? whether it's going to continue with this scenario or it's going to bring on a fresh scenario. What you're going to do is here. So I need you to listen. So let's take a look. In the first bullet, it says preparing detailed financial analysis and report on the performance of the firm's hospitality clients. My dear professional colleagues, you are going to carry out financial statement analysis. But I'm also thinking it may come in a unique dimension, which I'm already working on, right? But you are going to work on, or you're going to do financial statement analysis. So whether it will now be for for Travex Hotel or another hotel entirely, that's what I don't know. So whichever the case is going to be, you need to go and learn how to carry out financial statement analysis. And if you have followed my lectures for my regular students, I already gave you 10 ratios that you must know. And that those 10 ratios can help you to analyze any financial statement. So they cut across your profitability ratios, your liquidity, short-term solvency, and long-term solvency ratios. So I think we agreed on, apart from your trend analysis, then we agreed on gross profit margin, net profit margin, return on capital employed. So those captured your those 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 three would be under your profitability ratio. In terms of your liquidity and short-term solvency, you're looking at our current ratio, quick ratio. You look at inventory days, payable days, receivable days. Okay, so that's about 7 already. And under your financial strength, which is also long-term solvency, you can take a look at two of them: debt to equity ratio and leverage ratio, also known as gearing ratio. So those 10 is going to help you to analyze a company's financial statements, such as Travex Hotels Limited. So whether we are now going to analyze Travex or it's going to be another financial statement, because it can come in form of merger and acquisition. So I'm still going to talk about that. All right, so it might bring on fresh analysis, because the examiner knows that there are people that can help you out to analyze Travex Hotel, and there are also candidates that can cram. So they are aware, right? ICAN is aware. So he might want to surprise you. You know, he can't surprise me. See? So you're the one writing. Even though I've been writing this exam since Thursday. I'm going to write it till Sunday before I hand it over to you. Okay, so he knows that a lot of people can cram. So that's why it may likely bring on fresh account. But if it doesn't bring on fresh account, then so be it. But it's going to bring on additional account, obviously, to make it 4 years. I think we have 3 years here. Okay. So you're going to carry out financial analysis. So two things: if you cannot cram, go and learn how to carry out financial statement analysis. If you can cram, I will also advise that you learn how to carry out financial statement analysis. So if you don't know how to do that, well, maybe I may help out. Yeah. But I know some of you guys, you followed my lectures, son. You know how to do your financial statement analysis. So you're going to do that. You cannot escape it. All right. In bullet 2, it says analyzing your client's financial statement to identify areas of weaknesses and provide solution to manage. So in the course of carrying out your financial statement analysis, you're going to identify areas of weaknesses. For example, in Travex Hotels Limited, are they doing well in terms of profitability, in terms of liquidity, in terms of financial strength? All right. So what are the areas of weaknesses? All right. What are the those area in their financial performance that is showing maybe downward trend? Maybe the cost is very high, cost of doing business, or they are struggling to compete. You know, so many things might be happening to the company. So you are supposed to identify those areas and you prefer solution. So what that means is whatever findings, whatever weaknesses you find out, then you have to recommend what they can do. So what that implies is you are not just making a vague recommendation, but your recommendation must be linked or must be linked to the requirements, to your findings in your report. Okay, so that bullet 1 and 2, technically they are the same, right? So which will form your requirement 1, right? Now in bullet 3, it says assessing your client operational and strategic proposals or strategic business proposals with a view to evaluating their alignment with client objectives and the extent to which relevant business and financial risk have been considered. All right, so this will form requirement 2. So here, I think I'm interested in this operational and strategic business proposal. All right, so this is a wide area actually. So we don't know which dimension is going to bring on here, whether it's going to be contribution, whether it's going to be whether it's contribution analysis, whether it's going to be NPV, whether it's going to be break-even analysis, last diet, it tested limiting factor. All right, so this is really a wide area, and but you don't need to be worried about that, right? So what's important is you getting those figures and you're able to do some computation around it. But whichever way it is, you should be able to write something in your report. Okay, so whether you get the computations correctly, that is not really most important. What is important is to write a report, all right? So we can really we can navigate here. So I'm going to come up with what I think it may likely be. But obviously, it's a wide area actually. So it might decide to, you know, um, you can decide to go to PM, you can decide to go to SFN. It can even be major and acquisition I mentioned earlier, right? So because here it is strategic, operational and strategic, all right? Business proposal. So it could be anything actually. Okay, so take note of that. And here in bullet 4 says assessing your client financial and business forecasts, right? Okay, so here you assess business forecasts together with assumptions upon which they are based to suggest recommendation to the client. So this is usually NPV actually, or it could give you financial plan of the company in the next 5 years or 10 years, or strategic plan, ask you to help them to analyze. So, but what I've seen in the past is usually giving cash flows because they are also business forecasts, right? So maybe they want to invest in another hotel. I'm not sure. I don't know. They don't want to speak too much actually. So, so they now need to do some business forecasts, right, to see whether it's going to be viable, so to speak. So that is also linked to bullet 2, right? In all of this, you can decide to test a business model, which surprisingly, it brought back in May 2024 and solve growth matrix, right? So the questioner is, in this case, which of those models is quite interesting, is relevant, right? Even though it stopped testing models since I think May 2019, November 2018, thereabouts. So from November 2019, I've stopped testing business model until May 2024. All right. Even though in between those periods, I was trying to include business model in my report. All right. Uh, but he has not been testing it. But I normally tell my candidate to say, You only do the business model if it forms part of the requirements in the case. I think I also remember when I did November 2019, I deliberately included SWOT analysis, even though it wasn't part of the requirements. It's just to display or to showcase how it is being done so that candidates can be familiar with that. Okay. So we also need to think about models seriously that is most applicable. The question now is if we say it is this one and it tested this one. So how do we do? But I have an answer to that. Don't worry. November 17th, we are going to meet. All right. So, this is not Preseen. I'm just giving you, so am I lecturing? Is it too deep? I think it's, oh, okay. So let me just continue actually. Here it says drafting reports. So to the partner or drafting report for the partner based on the operational and strategic business analysis you have carried out. Okay. So that means in all the exhibits you've been given, the seen and the unseen, you're going to meet in the exam, you combine all of that together and you write just one single report. Then you send to your partner for his review before it is sent to the client. All right. Now, these responsibilities demand that you keep yourself abreast with development in the hospitality industry, both nationally and internationally, so that you can be able to carry out the above task effectively. In fact, this was one of the reasons why Preseen or the concept of Preseen, came about to say you need to intimate candidates or professional students of the industry the examiner intends to test so that you can make research about that industry. So the idea is not to look for solutions, but everybody is looking for solution actually, which is okay, it's fine, yeah. Because obviously we needed to be guided because when it comes to report writing, there's no universally acceptable way of writing a report. That's why ICAN will never release a sample report because the moment they do that, everybody will follow suit. Okay. Meanwhile, there are better ways of writing reports. Okay. But what is most important is to understand the structure of your report, how your report should naturally look like, and your ability to develop quality content, when you are writing reports. So it's not just about writing, but it's also about understanding what you're writing. All right. So it says Techno Consulting Services is a highly reputable consulting firm employing over 1,000 employees, specializing in high growth industry, including the hospitality industry. Okay, so that is interesting actually. All right, so let's move on. I think I have a question or was it a statement? Let me check that. Please give us likely models to study. All of them is actually relevant. But I'm trying to tailor it down to look at. So it depends on the aspect that you want to check. For example, if you want to look at competition, if you want to analyze Travex Hotels Limited against competition, how likely are they to survive and all of that. You want to think about Porter's five forces. If you want to look at their performance, you want to look at maybe benchmarking, you want to look at maybe another performance, angle of performance. You want to also think about balance scorecard. You want to look at internal issues, external issues. You want to look at SWOT analysis. You want to look at what can impact on their strategy, or their strategic plan. You want to look at PESTEL. Does that make sense? So it's really it's really a wide area actually. So it now depends on what the examiner is looking at. Okay. So that's why I said I think I have an answer to that. So we're going to walk around that and see, are the ones we can lay our hands on. All right. So let's look at Exhibit 2, the Nigerian economy and the hospitality industry. Okay, so let me give you an insight, right? If you are reading, right, if you are reading the exhibits, So what you do is, as you are reading, then ask yourself, how will this impact on my report? How will this information impact on my report? Obviously, not all the information will impact your report, all right? Not all of them. Some of them will impact your report, right? And some of them is just to get an understanding of the industry, because the examiner knows that you don't really work, you may not be working in an hotel or in an hospitality sector, all right? So he needed to give you some background information around the industry and specifically the company we're trying to analyze. So as you read, you're asking yourself, how will this impact on my report? Or how will this impact my report? So if you cannot really figure that out, you move on, all right? So the ones that you think can impact your report, then you start to highlight it, you start to, summarize it, so that it quickly helps you to develop your report, okay? So that's how to do it. So what I implies is this: you don't need to reread the preceding exam. So you already know what you needed here, and the moment you get in there, they quickly look at Exhibit 7. They gave us up to Exhibit 6 here. So Exhibit 7 will have your requirement. Then you already see what he wanted to do. So to help you to quickly do some of the executive summary and part of your report from the introduction, if you are following my lecture, I'm sure you can relate with that, okay? So I'll still revise on all of that, don't worry, but I'm just giving you some heads up. So you know already. And of course, it's going to overwhelm you with so many information. Maybe it can be lenient, sometimes some diets, they just be lenient, just bring on one additional account, then maybe business proposal, that's all, right? But in some other diet, they bring on so many other information. All of that, they are just tactics to overwhelm you. So you don't need to be overwhelmed. So that what I means is your planning starts from now. So don't wait till that time before start planning. So I may not read all of this content, but let me see the ones I can read. But again, as I said, um, as you read, then you're asking yourself, how will this impact my reports? Okay. So let's look at this. Nigeria is one of the biggest markets in Africa and has a population of over 200 million people, with a youth population that provides Nigeria with advantage over many countries. So the question is, will this impact my report? So the answer is yes, right? So if I'm writing this report, I'll just say, okay, Mutigbo, I've heard you, no problem. Sorry, what's not that, Mutigbo? I've heard you, okay. All right, so that's okay. So that's some information. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right. In addition, the country is endowed with excellent weather conditions, uh, many tourist attraction and significant natural resources, uh, including oil and gas. Okay, all right. Maybe this can be a wider context. Maybe, yeah. So depending on the context we're looking at. So why I think this can be a wider context is the tourist attraction, because obviously, tourist attraction or tourism will increase hotel bookings or reservation. Does that make sense to you? Right? So that may explain. So the moment I see that, I will check the financials. How does that link to the financials? You see, that's how to analyze actually. So even if it brings the unseen, you need to run away. So I wonder why people run away or they start screaming. You are a professional. So you have to face it. Tell them, I quickly check my revenue. What happened? Wow, it increased. Did you see? All right. So that's wider context. So probably what is happening here? Is that 9 million? It should be in billion actually. I don't know why they put up 9 million. All right. 9.5 million June 20, 21.7 million June 21 rose to 31.5 in 2022. Let me even just so the moment I saw this account, I didn't read all of those content. I just came to the financials and I saw 9 here and I saw 21 here. And I looked here, I saw 2020. And remember, I already seen Travis Hotel. I knew immediately, without reading the case, I knew immediately this was the impact of COVID-19. I know straight up. This is the reality. So when I started reading, and also when they mentioned COVID and all that, I said, wow, yeah. So that's just how to, you know, do some analysis. So maybe I can link that. So that you see, all the answers for me, they are actually in the case scenario. You don't need to import anything, okay? You don't need to. And again, my worry is always that a lot of reports will start flying up and down. Maybe they're already flying. I'm not sure, right? And candidates will be confused. They don't even know which one is who. So try to understand, all right? Try to understand even yourself, when you see some report, you know that this is rubbish. You will know, okay? Because you understand. It's because you don't understand. That's why you don't know which one should we follow, which one is no. You're a professional. Prove to the examiner, you're a professional. I'm not writing this exam. I will pass it. All right. So everything starts with your mindset. All right. And that's what I want to build in you. It starts with your mindset. That's why I have to generate that slogan to say no matter what happened in that exam, make sure you stick to the plan. And the meaning of that is make sure you write a fantastic report. I've seen a lot of people that they didn't even understand everything they brought in the unseen. They just remember, stick to the plan. Okay, I know my structure of my report. I know this, I know that. They look at the exhibits, the ones they can make meaning with, around, they applied it in the report writing and they passed. In fact, they were even surprised that they had 80 without even doing requirement too. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she don't do requirement too. Okay. But that's what I've seen. These are testimonies I've seen. Right. So please don't be discouraged, right? All right. So let me look at some of your comments or questions. I actually wanted us to rub mine, but I think you only want talking. What's going on? Like, hi. You like listening listening to me, right? Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Since we are in 2024, they may only bring 2023 financial. Yeah, it depends. If the financial year ends in December, obviously it will be for 2023. But if it ends in September, you may see 2 more years. So they didn't tell us. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me continue my story. The economy. Okay, the economy's heavy dependence on oil and gas has decreased in the last few years. For example, in the third quarter of 2022, yeah, I think that was also the lingering effect of COVID-19 actually. Gas sector accounted for about 5.6% of Nigerian gross domestic product, down from 7.5% recorded in the third quarter of 2021. However, oil and gas revenue remains a crucial source of government revenue, constituting 29% of total government revenue in the first half of 2022. Though crude oil and gas continue to account for bulk of Nigerian export earnings, efforts are in place to diversify the economy while ensuring the country's energy uh, security. Okay. All right. So this is okay. So really part of my report. I don't need that. For me, I don't need it. So you may need it actually. Wait, am I doing the analysis already? Come on. All right. Okay, so all of these are just talking about what's happening in Nigeria, the economy as a whole. So here is just for you to pick up your wider business issue that may be affecting the performance of traffic. So let me leave that. So let's look at hospitality industry in Nigeria. Okay, so what is this? The Nigerian economy. Oh, okay. And hospitality. Oh, so what's all the different? Okay. All right, so let's see this. At a time rather, Nigeria has the fastest growing hospitality market in Africa with a projected 12% CAGR. Yeah, that should be CAGR, right? Compound annual increase from 2019 to 2023, according to an expert projection. With this impact on my report, maybe yes, maybe, yeah. Maybe we can also link that to the economy's accelerated growth, maybe. But in early 2020, however, the COVID-19 pandemic, okay, so it's, can you see now? So in 2020, can you see that account? So that was why they recorded that figure, 2020. Yeah, globally. And tourism industry was one of the worst hit, yeah. This slowed down the growth in the hospitality industry. All right. Then I will do something again. So the moment I see this, I've given you a key as you read. How can it impact my report? Then I check the account. Let me even study what happened in 2020. You see, the answers are there. I think I'm doing analysis already. Look at this. So in that same year, the top line was fine. Yeah, the revenue is okay. And the first level of profitability was moderate, is okay. Then, but then the middle line costs was significant. It was even double, as you can see. And they reported a loss, operating loss. Can you see? So it was even loss before interest and tax here, not PBIT. So this one is loss. Can you see? Can you link it with that story? Because of that 2020 COVID-19. Did you see? So the company reported a loss in the bottom line. Wow, this is interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you're writing a report already. This should be in jacket, actually. I guess an error. Yeah. So it should be in jacket. So you are writing a report already now. The answers are there. It's a good. Okay. I'm not going to analyze. I'm just giving you some heads up, some insight, right? And it's getting interesting. Did you see the way all these are linked to the financials, right? Okay, so let me move on because of time. So let me just okay. So they talked about sorry. Sorry about that. Just give me some moments, please. Some moments, some moments, some moments, some moments. Some moments. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry. So here, I think I read this. I think I pay some attention here. But if you check here, they talked about three things. So let's see. They talked about the hospitality industry in Nigeria is characterized, supported, or challenged by the following. So what that means is, as you read through, you look at the characteristics, you also look at the support, then you also look at the challenges. For example, look at here it says tourism and business travel. So let's see, it said Nigeria is a diverse country with many rich cultural heritages, natural attractions, and historical sites. This has led to growth in domestic and international tourism, boosting the demand for hotels. Additionally, Nigeria is an economic hub in West Africa, attracting business travelers and corporate events. So let me ask you, go to your keypad. Is this a characteristic? Is this supported or is it challenged? Yeah. Okay. I need your response. Somebody says support, some people say there's an advantage. All right, support. Okay. Um the source of information is unknown. This can be a reservation. Absolutely. Expatriate not having sufficient effects too. Okay. Is it possible for ICAN to bring financial statement prior to 2020 in the unseen? Well, anything is possible, but they've never done that. Yeah. But anything is possible. Can we extend the class to 9:30? Why? What's that? Why? Why? Give me 5 reasons. Why should we extend it to 9:30? Okay, supported. What is saying? Supported, support. Support. Are you serious? Okay, something says can science. Okay, all right. So no problem. We will know whether I support or not. Let's read second one. Uh, no, I will not read second one. I think that second one is similar to that one. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this C. I'll just read from here because I know I've studied this. It says, at the present in Nigeria, some of such infrastructures are poor state, mainly due to poor maintenance culture. In addition, challenges presented by unreliable power supply and inadequate waste management system have adversely impacted what's it called, the operation of hospitality industry. So this is a challenge, right? So that's a challenge. Inadequate infrastructure. All right. We have not answered that number one, but I wanted to show you something. So that C is a challenge. I didn't want to mention B. B is related to A, right? So let's look at D. So it says regulation and government support. Government policies and regulation play a significant role in shaping business environment, supporting policies that promote tourism, blah, 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 and all of that. And actually, the federal government has put several sources in place. So, okay, so what do you call this? This is a support now. So if this is a support, D, that means A is not a support. Can you see? A is not a support. So A is the characteristics. Can you see now? All right. So I needed you to understand that. All right. So A is the characteristics. Uh, B is also, because talking about economic factor, is one of the largest in Africa. Crude oil, blah, 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 and all of that. Economic growth has a direct impact on demand for hospitality. So they are natural, that automatically boost the performance of hotels. All right. So A, B, the tourism and business travel economic factors, they are all characteristics, right? Then C is a challenge because of inadequate infrastructure. So when you look at D, regulation and government, so that's a support, all right? Security concerns is a challenge, right? Competition is a challenge. Technology is also a challenge. Cultural diversity. So let's read this. It's also a challenge actually because you may not be able to meet um, cultural differences, demand, changing demand, and all of that. So can you see? All right. So here now, which business model is appropriate? So that's the issue. Which business model is appropriate? So thank you for answering. Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. All right. Um, I have a question or is it a statement? I don't think the income tax in 2020 should be in brackets. I think it's a savings plus it is in bracket pass loss we are open to opinion. Okay, let me check that again. Where is it? Income tax in 2020. Okay. So let's see. So they say income tax. Okay, so they already made a loss here. Oh, I think I understand what you're saying. So is it possible? Um, Normally because they had a loss here, so they will not pay tax. So that's what I think you're saying there. Yeah. So if you have a loss, you won't pay tax actually. But again, the question is, they didn't really, they didn't give us note to the accounts, right? To say maybe they have a tax credit and all of that. What I know in practice is if you make a loss, you don't pay tax, right? So your tax savings was supposed to reduce your tax liability. Does that make sense, right? So it was supposed to reduce your tax liability for that year. But since you already made a loss, So ideally, it should be nil, so to speak. But notwithstanding, I also expect them to say, instead of saying income tax alone here, just like the way they did for what's it called here, operating profit or loss and the likes. So they can say income tax slash savings. So everybody is clear that here everybody is a savings. Okay. So I think that was the issue there. All right. Okay. So we are looking at the what's it called? The challenges, the supports, and whatever. So here it could be, I think we are looking at which of the model is most appropriate. Pestel, high portal, portals 5 forces, SWOT. So that's what people are saying. Okay, so let's look at G. I think somebody is asking a question on G. G technology. Okay, so here, once we read it, we know whether it's a challenge or, but I think it's a challenge even without reading it. So let's see, the growth of online booking platform change the way travelers search for and book hotel. Hotel needs to have strong online. So this is a challenge actually. So G is a challenge. All right. Okay. So most likely you may decide to bring on a what's it called? A business model in this regard. So someone is also saying if there are moon. Yeah, anything is actually possible. And he may not bring it. So that's the reality because if you look at November 2020, you also have something similar to this in Dotmark case, all right? And it did not test any business model. So don't be too carried away with business model. I'm pleading with you, all right? So focus more on the financial analysis, right? Even though you still have idea of how to apply the business model, okay? So don't be carried away with that, all right? So yeah, so let's now go to Activate 4 that talks about Travex Hotels Limited, history, board management, and competition. So let's see. Travis Hotel was established in Abuja, Nigeria, as a five-star hotel in year 2001 by a group of investors who specialized in hospitality business. The management of the hotel was given to MTS, one of the top-rated international hotel chains. Travis Hotel was constructed in Lagos in 2010 and started operation in 2012 with high borough area of Lagos. Okay, so as we are reading, we're asking ourselves, how will this impact my report? Travis has become most, okay, so let me ask, let's start from this. Will this impact my report? So let me start from there. What's your opinion? Okay, there's a question here. The whole challenge and support etc. How does that inform the report? So we said it could be in form of business model, and it could also be in form of wider business issue. All right. So either of the two. And if you did not bring business model, you may not even have any business to do with that. Okay. But it could also form part of the what they call requirement two. You know, um they talked about technology. Okay. So they might bring something around, they want to implement maybe online booking, contactless booking, or stuff like that. Then they give you some information for you to compute whether it will be viable or not. So you can also link it up to that. Okay. All right. So, but if it's going to be SWOT analysis or pest, obviously you have a whole lot of information to use there. All right. So let's move on. I was asking the history of Travex. Will it impact my report? Okay, I have yes, I have no, I have no. Yes, it will. It's advisable to write brief summary of the company. Okay. Yes, power strength. If SWOT is tested, that that's good location. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have divergent views whether the information or about the brief history about Harvard's impact on the report. Okay, so normally this will not impact your report. Okay, it will not impact your report. However, if it has to do SWOT, or yeah, I think SWOT, it could be part of the strength of the company in terms of look at what they said here. The management of the hotel was given to NTS, one of the top rated international hotel chains. So this is quality management, right? So it could be formed part of the strength. But to say you want to write brief history of the company, that's not what Travis has asked you to do for them. So you cannot be telling them their history. They know their history. Don't forget you are writing to the board. So you don't need to tell the board the history of their company. What they ask you to do is carry out financial analysis, help us to evaluate this business proposal, whether it is viable or not, right? So that's what you're doing. However, if they ask you to do SWOT, you can pick this as part of your strength. Okay, thank you. So it will impact on it will impact your report. So let's move on. Travis Hotel has become the most patronized hotel in Abuja and Lagos for functions such as conferences, international meetings, and seminars. So let me ask you, will this impact your report? I think I'm already doing the analysis. I need to stop. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to stop. But let me ask you, will that impact on your report? Yes, okay. Yes, the revenue. Yeah, great. I like that. On revenue. Yeah, brilliant. Ah, great, great. I love. You see, the answers are there, honestly. So as you are reading, you are thinking, how will that impact your report? Thank you, brilliant. I love this. So you see now, I'm already doing the. I said we wanted to do analysis. No, I'm not reading again, please. So we have the board. Sorry. So we have the board and management. Okay, we'll talk about this when. Okay, I'm interested in this actually. Okay. Let's see. Now here it says currently the hotel is facing stiff competition for this is from new entrant into the industry with highly luxurious rooms and suites. This is what they call disruptive business model, right? These competitors are having penetrated what we call airbase of Travelers Hotel, consider a source of significant worry to management. Wow, this is interesting. So obviously these people they came up with new technology actually. If the management of Travis Hotel does not rethink hotel business model. So the question is, what is their current business model? So will it bring another business model in the unseen for you to evaluate? Question mark. Oh God. Ha. Okay. The hotel, I will not talk. The hotel may soon start experiencing declining patronage, which will result in poor financial. This is really it's so small, it's very loaded. Your requirement too is there. That's what I can say. The dimension is going to look like I don't know, but I just pray for insights. Okay, because I'm already thinking about it, and I pray honestly. Yeah. Okay, let me look at your questions. This is getting interesting. Obviously, please talk now before it's too late. It can't be too late. You know anything I say now, everybody will take it out. So let's keep everything. Even me, I'm still processing. That's reality. When this is where captured my attention. In fact, I read this statement like 100 times. Because the more I read it, the more I'm getting different insights. It can decide to, it didn't put this information there for fun. Yeah, that's what I know for sure. So Porter's 5 diamond, because it mentioned new entrants, but I can go beyond that. You also need to think about growth strategies. Okay. All right. But obviously, Porter's 5 diamond might be relevant. Okay, please, will the competition be reflecting in the report? Yeah, well, it says they are facing competition at the moment, but it can only reflect if it gives you what's it called, competitors' financial performance. It's also possible to compare the financial performance of private hotel with that of the competitor. Okay. So for example, revenue, cost of sales, gross profit. So it gives you some financial indicators, for you to compare. So that's when this can come up. All right. But now revenue is not declining. So you cannot say revenue was declining because of competition. Does that make sense? Profitability was not also declining, apart from the loss that was recorded in 2020. So they've recovered already. So you cannot say it's because of competition. You can only bring in competition if it gives you the performance of some of the competitor in the industry. All right. As a matter of fact, this looks like Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja. Okay, so because it's I think they have maybe I'm not sure whether they are facing this issue, but from the history and all of that, so it's looking like Transcorp Hilton Hotel. Okay, but so that's why I said this can be interpreted in so many ways. It could be linked to your requirement two, it could be linked to business model, it could be even be linked to requirement one by the examiner bringing financial performance of some of the competitors in the industry. So it's really wide. It's really a wide area. All right. Okay. That was a major talk on environmental and sustainability. I think it will reflect on their model. Okay. Do you want me to pass comment on that? Okay. Maybe when I get there, I'll do that. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So we have this account. Okay. So go and do your trend, do your ratios. Okay. So I'll give you more insights in the major percent. So I don't want to really go into this, but let me check. Okay. Let me check some stuff here. Revenue is quite interesting. Okay, gross profit is okay, except for 2020, where operating profit was in loss. All right. Okay. I think the company has they recovered into profitability. Non-current assets, I think, is growing. Yeah, that's PPE. Yeah, it declined in 2021, but grew back in 2022. Yeah, goodwill, intangible assets. Why are they having goodwill? Goodwill as a limited habit company. Oh, okay, maybe. I'm not sure. All right. Investments in financial assets. Okay, that's fine. Inventory. It's increased. It's a slight fall in 2022. Trade. Okay. Hotel. Okay, they also have trade and other receivables. So interesting. All right, so let me see what's going on here. Do I have a calculator here? Let me just see the current receivable days. So I can say 3220.5 divided by revenue of that year, 31531.1 multiply 365. So it's giving me 37. Okay. 37 days. Okay. Prepayment. All right. Okay. I saw non-controlling interest. Interesting. Equity was stable. Retained earnings was growing. So this is a form part of the report. So you have to mention that. Okay. I'll do all of that anyway. But that's how to gain or to earn marks. Let's see. Okay. Borrowing was relatively stable in the last 2 years. Okay. All right. How about payables? Okay, let me check if my receivable day is 37 days. So let me check payables. 2125.6 divide cost of sales. Are you serious? Wow. Okay. Okay, divide 970 2.2 multiply 365. Oh my goodness. Ah, wow. I see. So it's giving me seven. Is that correct? Am I correct? Let me look at it. Sorry. Wow. This is really a big issue. Look at this. Is that not what I did? Payables 2125.6 divided by cost of sales in that year 9702.2. I've not really done this actually. Financial analysis is not really my problem. Wow, are you serious? 757 days. Jesus. Ah, we have a lot to write. Hey, if he brings this account to, eh? You must pass. We have a lot to write. This is interesting. Wow. I've not even done this. I was just looking at this and face. Are you serious? Wow, wow. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So they talked about hospitality business, sustainability, and innovation. Okay, so this is just general information actually, which is fine. Everybody should go green. Yeah. But again, a lot of people talked about IFRS S1 or IFRS S2. IFRS S1 talks about sustainability disclosure. IFRS S2 talks about uh, climate-related risk disclosures. All right, so the question is, will it be tested? Well, it could be yes, it could be no, but this is a limited liability company, so they are not really compelled to comply with IFRS actually. So, but the information is actually for a public limited liability company. So that's why you're seeing all of this information. I will not put it in my report, but I'll prepare a separate document on IFRS 1 and S2 in this regard, so that we just have an idea in case it pops up in the exam. So that's what I'll do. All right, thank you. So let me listen to you. What's your question? I have 5 minutes. Um, Somebody saying, why is goodwill same joy? Is that joy or let me see. What's in goodwill? Okay. Why was goodwill stable? It has not suffered impairment. That's it. They didn't really give us note to the account too, but obviously it hasn't suffered impairment. Revenue dropped between 2022 and 2021 compared to between 2022. Did it drop? Revenue, are you serious? Revenue didn't drop now. It's 2131. How did it drop? I don't understand. I did not see drop. Revenue. It dropped between 2022 and 2021. No, now you look at 2021, then 2022, not 2022, 2021. No, 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 no. You cannot do 2022 before you do 2021. No. So it didn't drop. So you look at that again. I mean, why are they having receivable in hospitality? Yeah, they can. They may have contracts. There are some companies that they have a relationship with some with the management, so they can just give them some credit. Yeah, it's very possible. Just like FMCG, you know, FMCG is a fast-moving consumer good. Normally, you pay in advance before they can even schedule uh, product to be delivered to you. But you have cases where there's some maybe loyal customer or related party, they will take those goods before payment, so they can grant them credit. So it's very possible. But when you now look at those receivables, it's always usually very low. So here we are having 37. It's worrisome actually. Yeah, 37 days, I think. Although in practice, maybe it's around 30 days credits or maybe 45 days, depending on the agreement. But here we don't even know the agreement. So yeah, so you can have receivables. It's possible to have receivables in hospital. Okay, so somebody is saying is already answering. Okay. Uh, okay, your YOY is down here. Okay, great. That was one movie in intangible asset between 2021. Yeah. So the question is this. You see, if you understand that it's 38, if those intangible assets they have indefinite useful life, they are not amortized. Does that make sense to you? It is only intangible assets with definite useful life that are subject to amortization with zero residual value. But the moment it has indefinite useful life, they will not be amortized, but they are subject to annual increment. So that's not a problem. So the understanding of accounting standards is also very key, so that you are not writing what is not to the examiner. So I appreciate the fact that you're trying to ask those questions. Okay. So that movement is never a problem because there could be intangible asset with indefinite useful life. But we're not giving note to the account, so we don't know. Right. You mentioned that there is similarity in transcorp meeting, right? Do you advise that we look at the report? Well, if you want to, but obviously this is what you're analyzing, so there's no difference. Okay. Yeah. What about impairment in 2022? Impairment. Here's that. Impairment. Is it here? You are talking about this one. This one is just talking about financial assets. You know, we have it in the what's it called? When you have financial asset, that's financial instrument actually. So your financial asset can be equity instruments and debt instruments. Is this CR class? Okay. So it could be equity instruments or debt instruments. So equity instrument is, for example, you buy the shares of a company. So that's a financial asset. So that's an equity instrument. So ideally, they're initially measured at fair value. They subsequently, you measure them at fair value through profit or loss, or fair value through other comprehensive income. Okay. So obviously, this was measured at fair value through profit or loss, probably because it's head for short-term trading. So you can see it in the balance sheet here. So you can see investment in financial assets, and it's usually between 1% and 19%. Okay, so and if it is measured at fair value through profit or loss, it must be revalued at the end of the accounting period, and any gain or loss on evaluation will be taken to profit or loss account. So here they had loss. Okay, so that's what happened. In the other years, they had a gain. That's why it's not charted. Okay, so and the more you have loss, you call it impairment. So that's it. So okay, so I think I've answered your question. That's just accounting standard knowledge of financial instruments. Travel is a service-based company. How do we have inventory in the statement? Hmm. Okay. All right. So let me explain that. It's an hotel business. So apart from hotel bookings, right? They still do some other. They still have some other. Yeah, how would I call that? Is it? Will I call it product or it's still inventory actually? You know, if you enter some hotels, you see something like depending on the on the type. Where, you know, you have standard, you have is it deluxe, you know, like all those names. But there are some that once we enter, you see a table water on your table, you see LinkedIn, you see milk, you see sugar, you see all of that. They are held in the ordinary course of business, so they are part of their inventory. Does that make sense? Okay, because if you also go to their bar or restaurant, you buy them, so it forms part of their revenue streams. Even though the bulk of revenue is coming from hotel bookings, room bookings rather, maybe they have conference rooms for events, seminars, and all of that. Okay, so don't query that inventory. It's very genuine. All right. Okay, so um, please share the video of this lecture. Okay, sure. Yeah. What about detergents and the likes? Detergents. Those one could be consumables actually. If they use those one for laundry. Yeah, I could consumables. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I guess we are good. So I'm going to see you. I hope you enjoyed the preliminary discussion, even though I'm the one talking, I'm talking too much. But thank you for your participation. A lot of people really participated. I love that. Okay. Apologies to people that can't join, probably because of network or whatever challenges. But I see a good number, both on the live stream and Google Meet. So that's interesting. I wish you the very best. And I think I've been able to provide some insight. That's the whole idea, actually. And I want you guys to actually talk. I think maybe it's balanced. Yeah, maybe I spoke more. I'm not sure. But I also try to cut back. I don't want to go much deeper. But by my estimation, I think I've gone deeper. Oh my goodness. Ah, okay, somebody is making a suggestion. Please, 17 is not enough. Can we make it 16 and 17? It's not possible because the report will not be ready until that 17. Okay, that's what I can guarantee. That report will be ready. But with what we have done, you should have some confidence today. All right, honestly, you should have some confidence. I know some of you you've seen it. You are wondering what is this, what is that. But with the little we have done, at least you should have some confidence and you should be able to relate with this. I told you for the financials, I just did some ratio now and I'm shaking my head already. I just did receivable days, payable days, right? And I'm shaking my head already. So go and do it now. Quickly do all those 10 ratios and, try to interpret it, try to report on it. I know you might be preparing for other papers, but notwithstanding, you still have to create time on this. Somebody said we didn't talk on it in the 6th. I actually did. I said what was here is just about sustainability and innovation, and which technically applies to public company. Okay, but obviously innovation is good. So you're just talking about automation, magnetic car, green energy, and all of that. So they can also coin your requirement too from this area, and it can just form part of the exhibit that may not even impact on your report. Okay, so you cannot lift anything directly from here into your report, except, for example, they said they want to go green, they want to install solar power, and they ask you to do MPV computation. You will not still come here. You have to rely on those information given in the OC. So these are just uh, general information. Okay, so don't worry yourself. You can read it through as many times, but me, I know what it is. I work in a public company, so we do all of this when it comes to annual report. So that's what we have to. All right, thank you so very much for your time once more. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you are catching the cruise or you have some confidence, but I pray for you. You won't rewrite this paper, everybody will pass by the grace of God. So we'll see on November 17, 7:30 p.m. We'll run it through to 9:30. At that period, I'm not even asking any question. I'll be the one that will talk from 7:30 to 10:30. You might extend by 30 minutes, let's say by 11. So just prepare for me. And you have a sample report, I can promise you that. Okay? Thank you so very much for your time. Okay, I think I have a question here. Any information regarding ethical issue? We didn't have it, yeah, but it could form part of the unseen. Okay, so but it's not in the person. Thank you. All right. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy your night rest. Good night.